Most people think calm people were born that way. Wrong. You think monks are naturally peaceful. CEOs are naturally decisive. Athletes are naturally disciplined. Wrong. 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 You don't have a mindset problem. You have a system problem. The average person wakes up and lets their emotions run the day. Bad mood, bad day. One rejection, spiral. One mistake, identity crisis. One hard task, suddenly they need motivation. Idiot. Motivation is unstable. Systems are not. Meanwhile, monks sit in silence for hours. Elite soldiers slow their breathing under chaos. Top performers get embarrassed, rejected, ignored, and they still keep moving. Why? Because they know something you don't. Three things, actually. The same principles that build emotional control, discipline, and real self-respect. I'm about to show you exactly what they are. And by the end of this, you'll never think about mindset the same way again. Chapter 1. Your brain believes whatever you repeat. Here's the first lie you were taught. Just be more confident. Useless advice. Confidence is not a personality trait. It is evidence. Your brain does not care what you say in the mirror. It cares what you keep doing. You can repeat, "I am disciplined" all morning. Then you hit snooze 3 times, avoid the gym, scroll for an hour, and now your own brain knows you're full of it. Most people use affirmations like makeup. Cover the insecurity, hide the weakness. But underneath, nothing changed. Psychologist Albert Bandura called this self-efficacy. Your belief in yourself comes from mastery experiences, not fantasies, not quotes, proof. Small wins stacked repeatedly until your brain has no choice but to update your identity. That's why disciplined people look calm. They have receipts. The monk doesn't say, "I hope I can control my thoughts." He sits every day. The runner doesn't say, "I think I'm tough." He runs in the rain. The entrepreneur doesn't say, "I'm resilient." She gets rejected 50 times and still ships. Your identity is just your memory of repeated behavior. Read that again. If you keep breaking promises to yourself, your brain builds a file called unreliable. If you keep doing hard things on command, your brain builds a file called dangerous person to doubt. Most people try to think their way into a new life. Elites behave their way into a new identity. So here's the tactic. Stop making giant promises. Your brain does not trust dramatic people. It trusts patterns. Don't say, "I'm changing my whole life starting Monday." Say, "Every day after I wake up, I sit still for 2 minutes. I make my bed. I write one priority. I do one hard thing before dopamine." Tiny, boring, repeated. DJ Fodd's behavior model and habit research both point to the same thing. Small behaviors done consistently create momentum faster than giant behaviors done occasionally. That's why people with average talent but strict routines destroy talented people with emotional lifestyles. But here's the problem, though. Small actions build identity. Yes, but most of you still lose to your emotions before the day even starts. That brings us to the second advantage. Chapter 2. Calm is not a feeling. It's a trained response. Most people think emotional control means not feeling anything. Wrong. Monks feel frustration. Athletes feel fear. Leaders feel doubt. The difference is, they don't obey it instantly. You do. Your phone buzzes. You check it. You feel anxious. You avoid the task. You feel insecure. You seek validation. You feel bored. You open social media like a lab rat slamming a lever for pellets. That is not personality. That is conditioning. Viktor Frankl wrote that between stimulus and response there is a space. In that space is your power. Most people have destroyed that space. Notifications killed it. Cheap dopamine killed it. Constant stimulation killed it. Your reaction time is now basically automatic. Something happens, and you obey. That is why your mindset feels weak. You are not choosing your day. You are reacting to it. Monks train the pause. So do snipers. So do negotiators. So do therapists. The breath is not spiritual decoration. It is a control lever. Stanford neuroscientist Andrew Huberman has explained how physiological size and controlled breathing can rapidly reduce stress and change arousal state. Translation: your body can drag your mind back under control fast. So when average people panic, trained people interrupt the pattern. Bad email? Pause. Exhale longer than you inhale. Anger rising? Pause. Relax your jaw. Drop your shoulders. Urge to quit? Pause. Name the feeling. This is resistance, not truth. That last part matters. Psychologists call this affect labeling. When you name an emotion, amygdala activity can decrease, and your prefrontal cortex regains control. In plain English, your brain stops acting like a screaming toddler. You say, "I am a failure." Wrong. That's not a fact. That's a chemical weather report. You say, "I'm lazy." Wrong. Maybe you are overstimulated, underslept, and addicted to comfort. You say, "I can't focus." Wrong. You trained yourself to switch tasks every 20 seconds. See the pattern? Most people fuse with every thought. Strong minds observe thoughts, then decide what deserves action. Here's a brutal rule. Never make life decisions in an emotional spike. Not when angry. Not when ashamed. Not when euphoric. Not when exhausted. Create a delay. 10 breaths. 10 minutes. 1 walk. 1 page of journaling. Anything that gives your intelligent brain time to catch up with your emotional one. Hit subscribe before you forget. Seriously. The whole game is learning how not to obey your first impulse. Most people never learn that. But here's the thing though. Pausing is powerful. Emotional control matters. But if your environment keeps feeding weakness, you'll still relapse into the same patterns. That's where the third advantage comes in. Chapter 3. Your environment is stronger than your willpower. This is the part people hate. You say you want discipline, but your room is chaos. You say you want focus, but your phone is in your hand. You say you want a better mindset, but you spend 4 hours a day consuming the opinions of strangers, with worse lives than the one you want. Then you wonder why your brain feels noisy. Idiot. The average person treats self-improvement like a motivational speech. Strong people treat it like architecture. Behavior scientist Kurt Lewin and later researchers in habit formation kept landing on the same truth. Behavior is heavily shaped by environment. Change the cues and behavior changes with less effort. Leave the cues untouched, and you keep fighting the same battle forever. That is why monks leave the city. That is why serious writers hide their phones. That is why elite performers protect mornings like national borders. Willpower is overrated. Friction is king. Want to stop scrolling? Don't rely on being stronger. Delete the app. Log out. Add password friction. Put the charger outside the bedroom. Want to journal every morning? Leave the notebook open on your desk. Want to read more? Put the book on your pillow so your lazy brain trips over it at night. Want to become more disciplined? Make bad choices harder and good choices easier. James Clear popularized this with habit design, but the principle is much older. Humans follow the path of least resistance. Always. That means if your bad habits are one thumb movement away and your good habits require friction, guess which version of you wins? Not the ideal you, the convenient you. And here's the deeper layer. Environment is not just physical, it is social. You are shaped by what your group laughs at, tolerates, and rewards. If your friends normalize excuses, you will shrink. If your circle worships comfort, discipline will feel extreme. If everyone around you complains, your ambition starts to feel embarrassing. Sociologist David McClelland argued that the people you habitually associate with shape much of your behavior and success trajectory. Translation: your standards are contagious. That's why some people transform after changing rooms, cities, gyms, even friend groups. It wasn't magic. It was exposure. New norms. New expectations. New evidence of what's possible. Most people want a better mindset without changing the ecosystem that keeps producing the old one. Wrong approach. You don't rise to your goals. You fall to your environment. But here's the problem, though. Even with better habits, better pauses, better rooms, there is still one thing that destroys almost everyone. Chapter 4. You keep protecting your ego. This is the silent killer. You avoid hard conversations because they make you look weak. You avoid the gym because you might look stupid. You avoid starting because your first version will be embarrassing. Congratulations, your ego is now your prison. Most people don't fail because they lack potential. They fail because they are addicted to appearing capable instead of becoming capable. Carol Dweck's work on fixed versus growth mindset made this painfully clear. People with a fixed mindset interpret struggle as proof they are limited. People with a growth mindset interpret struggle as the price of expansion. Same obstacle, different meaning. The weak mind says, "This is hard, so maybe I'm not built for it." The strong mind says, "This is hard, so it's probably changing me." That one sentence changes everything. Monks sit through restlessness. Lifters embrace soreness. Builders tolerate ugly first drafts. Confident people are not protected from embarrassment. They just stopped worshiping it. You want self-esteem? Earn some. Keep one promise when it's inconvenient. Speak when your voice shakes. Post the imperfect work. Have the awkward conversation. Go where your pride doesn't want to go. Because every time you survive discomfort, your brain updates the map. Oh, that didn't kill me. Then the next hard thing gets smaller. Psychologists call this exposure. Face the discomfort in controlled doses, and fear loses authority. Avoid it, and fear grows teeth. This is why overthinking is so dangerous. It feels intelligent. It feels productive. It feels safe. Wrong. Overthinking is often just avoidance wearing glasses. You are not processing. You are delaying pain. The cure is action before certainty, not reckless action, measured action, honest action, ugly action, the kind that gives reality a vote. Send the email. Apply for the role. Record the video. Start the business page. Take the first sales call. Do the first workout. Reality corrects fantasy faster than thinking ever will. Either way, put this whole system into one page if you need to. Identity proof, pause practice, friction design, ego exposure. Print it, use it, because mindset without a protocol is just inspirational wallpaper. Now, let's make this painfully simple. If you want a stronger mindset, do this. First, collect proof. One small promise. Every day. No drama. Second, train the pause. When emotion spikes, breathe, label, delay reaction. Third, redesign your environment. Make weakness inconvenient. Make strength obvious. Fourth, embarrass yourself on purpose. Tiny doses. Repeated. Let your ego lose. That is how calm is built. That is how discipline starts feeling normal. That is how confidence stops being fake. But here's the thing, though. You can do all of this and still stay stuck. If your attention is destroyed from the second you wake up. Because a strong mindset means nothing if your brain is too fried to focus. That's why I made this video breaking down how to reset your dopamine, kill distraction, and get your discipline back fast. Watch that next.